So you need to get over that.
I just need her.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. We'll start off with the mayor's report, then we'll have the city administrator report. This is an exciting time to be a Herman resident. The city has more projects in the works and more good news to report than ever before. Here are some of those items. The city cleanup campaign. This is one of our 3 major projects for Herman announced just after my re-election. Blighted neighborhoods and reduced property values and reduce city morale. We must all take pride in our beautiful city and fix up our properties. Last year, the city identified 17 properties that needed to be cleaned up or torn down. And this year, we have stepped up our efforts to motivate the owners of these derelict properties to either take action or we would. I am proud to say that we already have significant results in 8 cases. I believe 4, 5, or 6 or so have already been demolished and moved away or moved away. The buildings have been torn down or are being rehabbed. Our initial demolition grant application was rejected because we did not include enough properties. But the grant was recently reopened and we are working diligently to submit our amended application with at least 3 demo properties by the September 30th deadline. Along the same lines, our new street sweeper will make another positive impact in cleaning up our city. We're hopeful to have that by September 1st. The new grass and leaf ordinance, which was going to be discussed tonight, I believe, voted on, is also part of this overall plan. Fiber optic update. We met with Chris Collins of the United States Department of Agriculture on August 3rd to work on financing for the city's fiber optic project. The purpose of the meeting was to give city employees training in the application process. The first step is to pass a resolution, we hope at tonight's BOA meeting, that authorizes Mark Wallace to initiate the loan application on the city's behalf. The loan application does not commit the city to completing the loan or drawing down the loan. It's an application only. We hope to have this loan application completed and submitted to the USDA by September 30th, which is a deadline. If we can meet this ambitious hurdle, we will be considered in this year's congressional appropriations. If not, we'll have to wait till more funds are appropriated next year. On August 7th, we met with the MRPC representative regarding new grants that have been authorized to facilitate development of rural broadband. MRPC can help us with these grant applications. During this period, I might say the grant applications, there is a lot of details that are still being developed now, but we expect to have those soon, and MRPC will send them to our way as soon as they have them. During this period, we were in contact with lawyers for Central Electric attempting to secure access to their fiber cable that crosses the river near our industrial park. Hopefully we have some movement in that. We think we do. Emergency Flood Routes Grant. A $20,000 grant has been awarded to the City of Herman to defray costs of developing an emergency flood route through our city for large semi-trucks and passenger cars. This route will help avoid the damage caused during the last flood cycle when tractor-trailer trucks used narrow or ill-suited private residential streets and caused great damage to city and private property. The award of the above grant should give us a better chance for the award of the follow-up street rebuild grant that would provide funds to rebuild, not repair, but rebuild, the streets severely damaged during the last flood. This is the real plum that we have been hoping for. Details regarding the amount and timing of this grant are yet to be determined. The MRPC TAP Committee. In addition to the above street grants, there will be another round of TAP grants. grants that we can apply for. These grants can help us with more sidewalks and possibly a pedestrian bridge across Frayne Creek near the bridge we want to replace by the Ford dealership. If feasible, we try to build a pedestrian crossing and a sidewalk up the hill south of the Frayne Creek Bridge. Ordinances. Ordinances are processes with meetings and open forums to listen to input from interested parties. I've said many times that we should either obey our laws or change them. The P&Z Commission met recently and did exactly what it was supposed to do by deliberating and considering input from B&B owners and citizens in attendance, which is our process. The city ordinance has always mirrored the state law, which limits B&B meals to breakfast only. But many owners think that they need the option of offering an occasional additional meal or snack to better cater to their customers. The B&B business has grown far more competitive in recent years, which I pointed out last month. The P&Z recommended that this provision of breakfast only be eliminated from the new ordinance, which would allow more meals and snacks. The B&B owners seemed happy with this, so it would be right for me to support this change as well. The Board of Aldermen has a final decision, of course. There is still the state law for them to consider and the impact it has on Herman. I will invite the Gascony County Health Department to speak at our next Board of Aldermen meeting. None of this relates to the recently concluded court case. This case centered on commercial activities in a residential neighborhood, not guest meals. The planning and zoning and the citizens also discussed the situation of overcrowding in Herman guest houses and the potential problems that a disaster could cause. The group present seemed to support that the city should establish occupancy limits for guest houses. It was further suggested that a workshop might be held to discuss the matter, or possibly the chamber would survey all of its lodging members regarding their thoughts. City sales tax and lodging tax reported increased July numbers, and I will report again when we have enough months of data to see a trend. Remember that the last 2 years were the highest sales tax and the highest lodging tax in the city's history. All city utilities started the fiscal year 2018-19 in the black, continuing a trend going back to last year. This is a very healthy thing for Herman, as we need to rebuild reserves, which were tapped pretty hard in some of the previous administrations. Response to disparaging remark. At a recent meeting, a prominent person stated that Herman numbers appear good, stating that sales tax numbers were up and lodging tax numbers were also up, but the city had little to do with these improvements. This is absolutely false and untrue. Nothing could be farther from the truth, and a statement like this cannot be allowed to stand and let unchallenged, or people may begin to believe it. The mayor and aldermen were instrumental in starting the shift from doom and gloom, and it took inspired leadership to move the city from a position of despair to the thriving situation we're in today. Everyone in the Herman community should also receive credit. I have so many important things, and so does the Board of Aldermen and the people that work for the city, that I can't spend any more time tonight on this, but I will bring this up again and bring details at another meeting. That's my report. Thank you.
Okay, as the mayor mentioned, I've been working on a demolition grant and other paperwork, and also will be attending the Gascony County Enterprise Zone meeting in Lynn on Thursday. A little public works update. The street department is adding base and asphalt to sections of West 7th, and our asphalt paver was broken down, is being repaired. After it is repaired, the street department will take it to Seattle to do some paving there. They've started painting the crosswalks. You've probably seen that around town for the start of school, and they do work orders as they come in. The gas, water, and wastewater department has removed a hydrant at 4th and Gutenberg and will reinstall it next to the Real House. There's a couple of leaks here repairing this week and preparing for a gas line extension later this month. City park employees continue mowing and weed eating, and now with the pool closed, they'll start that shutdown process of the pool. City Electric has completed the three-phase underground project at the Herman Farm and have been changing out meters. There have been several customer service upgrades along with the monthly meter reading. Foreman Jesse attended an RP3 workshop on reliable power standards. And the transformer and conduit has been installed in the upper park. We are waiting on the contractor to do the secondary work so that we can install the lighting. I'd also like to report that the swimming pool staff was recently audited unannounced and scored a meets or exceeds in all categories. I would like to thank our staff, Melanie Deball and Jess Robb especially, for being diligent in their training and procedures and keeping everyone safe at our city pool. Great job and thank you.
That was the third in a row.
Third in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
Good
It's
job.
awesome.
They've got it going over there. That's pretty good.
Mark, one quick question.
Mhm.
I haven't seen a bunch of water leaks lately. We get pretty caught up.
We're getting caught up. Yeah, they're kind of seasonal. Yeah.
So the temperature drops a little.
Sometimes that causes them, sometimes just extremely dry weather and then some rain causes them. It just is no real rhyme or reason, but we've been lucky so far.
Okay, thank you, Mark. The next thing on the agenda are ordinances, and I'll turn it over to Dave to read those.
First is Bill number 2018-22 on for second reading. An ordinance to amend the Herman Municipal Code to prohibit yard waste on city streets and sidewalks.
Any further discussion? Do I have a motion to accept it, pass it?
I move it second read.
Second. We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Next on for second reading, Bill number 2018-23, an ordinance to approve an agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and Donald Magi, Inc. for 6th Street Pump Station improvements.
Any further discussion on that? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve second reading.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried.
Next is Bill number 2018-26 for first reading. An ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and ND West Contracting Company for street resurfacing.
What is the street?
I have two close relatives that work for this company. I will recuse myself from voting on this one.
East 12, north of Schiller, the intersection of Schiller and East 12. From Schiller north to Gutenberg, Bader Road, whatever it is.
I have some questions on this one. We have the process of doing our planning for doing these streets and that, and we have a street foreman that recommends what he recommends to do that year with the money he has available. And we approved the budget to do 2 streets, and then now it's been changed. And in order, we're eliminating a Sharp Street because it wasn't quite as bad as it could be, maybe. But by cutting that out, the other street's gonna cost us $5,000 more to do it. I think this decision was made without being brought to the alderman. And I think when we approve a budget and the supervisor of that department puts a plan out there, that we should stick with it instead of an individual coming in and saying we need to change it. So I think that, you know, what was originally on there was the 13th Terrace, which that street has curbing and all that, so it would have been an easy fix, and that way we wouldn't have to mess with that street for a long time. And now that one's been scrubbed.
Well, Bruce, the reason that was done was with the complete consent and agreement and the input of the city administrator and the street foreman. But they feel that that street is not very bad, but it was a cheap one to do because it had curbs and gutters. But with the money saved, they can get a good start on 18th Street right here, and at least pave the part that's really bad from 100 up to the intersection.
I don't think that's a true statement, because they're gonna have to do the water sewer or the drainage sewer before they can do that paving down there.
That's the
Yeah.
water department.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I don't think it's a savings. I don't like the way the whole procedure was done, is what I'm saying. And I've talked to the street foreman, and I have to disagree with what you just said. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not gonna vote to approve that
You're
myself.
right, you're right. We felt that this street is so bad, it's probably the #1 problem in the city as far as streets go, because of the hospital and the nursing home up there, and.
And I
even the
agree
city hall.
100% with that.
And we felt we could do it, and get at least half of it done, as opposed to a street that really doesn't need it, and is not a major street anyway. Now,
That street out there is gonna take way more money than that little bit that you're gonna say, that you're gonna put in the bank.
yes, it is. Do you want to address that? Where
No.
the money comes from?
The only way we can afford that street at this point would be the utilities helping to pay for it. The water department did replace the water line there and tore up that side, so they could pay for most of it. The problem with this street is not only the lack of curb and gutter, but stormwater issues that we have to address. The intersection has to be engineered. And talking to the public works director and the street foreman, a simple 1.5 to 2-inch overlay is not enough for the amount of heavy trucks that come through there. It's probably going to take 2 1.5 to 2-inch overlays for that to hold up any
On the
length of
street,
time.
on the intersection.
The street. And then the intersection, of course, needs to be concrete, because when they turn, they just chew up the asphalt. You just can't keep it in place. So we're probably looking, I don't know, I did based on the cost we had for the other sections of street, using their numbers, the asphalt and curb and gutter alone is probably going to be around $160,000 for that footage here. I forgot what it was. That doesn't include the curb and gutter, it doesn't include the intersection or any stormwater improvements. So it's going to be an expensive fix, but we want to do it right. And then after that's done, we'll have to go to Frame Drive and resurface that one, because that's where the trucks are going to have to go through. Hopefully that process won't take more than 2 or 3 days, but we'll see how that affects Frame Drive.
And I think that it's a stretch, I admit, but, was it 13th Terrace?
13th Terrace.
13th Terrace is not a very bad street. And the option was just don't do that and save the money.
But you're not saving money, you're adding $5,000 to the other street because.
But
you're
we're
not-
saving $17,000, even if we don't do it.
I'll take some of the heat off of them. I'm actually partially responsible for this. The number of complaints I've had from our ambulance drivers and emergency people about this hill out here, I came to them and asked them if there was any way that we could start getting this hill in the budget. And they responded. It was, and I still think it's an excellent idea. I don't know where we're gonna get the money to do it all,
We
but
won't be able to.
every little bit's gonna help.
I think 2 or 3 phases is not the only way we can do it. But the first phase, if we don't start it this year, then that puts us up another year. And we thought we were doing something good. The street, 13th Terrace, doesn't really need it. I've gone over there several times, taken Mark over there. And that was what we thought we could use some of the, the water and sewer money, because they're gonna have to come in and pay over what they tore up. And we've been doing it that way, so we can get a little more bang for our buck. So that's what we did. We thought it was good. We asked it. So,
And the reason the 12th Street alone went up 5,000 is because of when you take away quantity, the unit prices go up for the different phases, the milling, the actual asphalt per ton, and the the tack coat that they put down to seal the layers together. So if you take away the quantity, of course, they had the unit prices go up. That's why it went up $5,000.
Is there,
So it went up 5,000 more, but not for the total cost? We're still going to
Yeah,
see
if you look at
$17,000?
yeah, the memo in here, went, the budgeted was 60,367, and the actual cost to do just 12th Street was 43,592, so it's about $17,000 less that we'd be spending in that area, and we can use that towards the 18th Street project.
we never figured it would be even close to
No,
being
but
enough, but it's,
we're trying to get it done as quick as, get 18th started as quick as we can, as far as I asked Mark for an update on what was going on with 18th Street, and that if there was any way to
Expedite.
get it going faster and getting more money towards it, because there's a lot of complaints about that street, because so many people go up to the hospital, and it's a real bumpy ride, and I mean, it just seems like if anybody complains about a street, it's this
Yeah.
street out here. And so I think this is a way we can reprioritize our money to go towards the streets that need it the most. And that's just how I feel about it.
is there any more discussion down there? Anybody want to talk about it?
Express my feelings, that's all.
Yep, good, yeah, that's good talk. Anybody want to make sure that now with this resolution is to pay 12th Street. It's not to pay 18th Street. Okay. So do I have a motion to pass this one?
I cannot.
You can,
I'll make a motion to declare Bill 2018-26 first read.
do we have a second?
I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm not sure what just happened. We have one
One
abstention.
abstain.
We have one abstention,
It's 2-1, but
and we have 2 aldermen voting in favor of passing this ordinance. The state statutes say that in order for any ordinance to be approved, it must be approved by a majority of the Board of Aldermen. So it actually needs 3 votes to pass.
it's a resolution.
No, it's not. It's an
Now
ordinance.
we're on bill number 218-26.
I would change my vote because I don't want to hold up progress. I just want it to be known I don't think it was done properly.
Okay, so now,
Thank you.
thank you, we appreciate it. I know all the people that go to the hospital appreciate it. Okay, now we have the 3 ayes, 0 nays, and the motion is carried.
All right. Do we need a second on that tonight?
Well, I don't know, to get it started, should we go ahead and second read that?
Well, we
again?
can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bill number 2018-26, an ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and NB West Contracting Company for street resurfacing.
Motion, please,
I'll make a motion to be second read.
and second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right, and then the resolution that's on for tonight is a resolution authorizing the submission of a loan application to the United States of America's Rural Utilities Service for a loan program for rural telecommunications providers.
Okay, now what this is authorization for Mark to get a password to start to fill out a loan application. It is not an authorization that would bind us in any way to accepting a loan or anything like that. We made it clear, that's right?
That's correct.
Okay. So
And this
that's,
is for our fiber optic system.
that's it, right.
And is 4 million just a high
Not to-
estimate or what?
Yeah, that's a not to exceed
Because I thought it was closer to 2.6.
It is.
It is, but I talked to Mr. Collins, and he said, give yourself some coverage. You don't have to spend that much, but you need to have yourself some room.
We can change it if you want to.
No, I was just curious if there was a change in
Yeah.
that.
And I might add that when we fill out this application, there's also the somewhat probability that this could dovetail into a grant at some point during the process, because there are some changes going down, and if the appropriations are there, we may qualify for the grant, so that'd be even
Is,
better.
yeah,
That'd be good.
Is this a case where once we have our profile or whatever set up in their system that we can go from program to program, or?
You have to have a thing they call e-authorize, which then
Yeah.
allows you to access their papers.
Okay.
And the other thing too is, once we get it filled out, my plan was to bring it back here so y'all can see it before even, anything else is done, so you can take a look at it. I suspect it's multiple pages, and you may want to take it home and read it.
The class alone is typically 3 days long to work on filling out the paperwork. It requires auditing, engineering, all kinds of details, so we're going to be hard pressed to get it out in time, but we're going to work on it.
Yeah, well, once we have it, then for next year, we
Yeah,
will
we'll
have to
set-
wait, we'll set up, yeah.
Yeah.
How
All
long do
right.
you have to get that done?
September 30th.
About a month and a half.
Plenty of time for what? Don't get me.
He's a bass player. We don't-
I heard that.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Any unfinished business? Do we have a fiber optic report?
Well,
I got
everything that I had was basically what you
Okay.
had, and I think, we're making progress on our available financing options. We're making progress on, slow, but we're still making progress on accessing the river crossing, and it's coming together. It's just a lot slower than what we originally wanted, but it's still moving in the right
I'll
direction.
say again, anytime that if I'm involved and we're talking about borrowing $2.6 million, and signing the city to a liability, the project is self-funded. In other words, the operator of the system that we own will pay us enough to pay the principal and interest and a little bit more. That's the idea, but the city has to take on a loan of $2.6 million. So if that should come to fruition, I'm going to move as slow as I need to make sure we know exactly what we are doing, and that we've dotted every I and crossed every T, and everybody involved understands it. So speed is not the utmost consideration. And also, Dave, do you have anything on getting with the lawyers?
I don't have anything to add, no, other than we should be able to move forward, yeah.
Okay, and Brian, do you think there's a need to have at least a phone meeting of the fiber optic committee so we can get everybody on the same page?
Yeah.
Can you set that up?
Yeah.
Any more unfinished business? Any new business? Okay, we have the minutes. Do we have a motion to accept or change?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to accept the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are accepted. Invoices for payment.
Move we pay the bills. Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to pay the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid. Hired soccer referees, Luke Bader, Abigail Overcamp, Andrew and Alex Shunant. Shonnet.
I make a motion to approve the hiring.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. We have a caterer's permit for Weiss Holdings LLC, doing business as Fernway Distilling Company, for Wine and Jazz Festival, Amphitheater, August 18th, 2018.
I will move to approve.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. We have a picnic liquor license, St. Paul United Church of Christ, Church Picnic Amphitheater, September 22nd, 2018.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. We have a special event application, Hermanoff Inc., Crescent Classic Car Show, Gutenberg, street closure 4 p.m. to 10 a.m., September 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I don't know if the 9th is actually on there. Yeah, anyway, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I couldn't tell, but is this pretty much the same as last year?
Well, I think last year they asked for it to be closed.
Well, last year we were told it was gonna be open and
Yeah, and it
closed
wasn't
anyway.
open, and I'm adamantly against closing. I'm sorry, you know, you guys can approve it if you want to approve it. I know it's a great event. And again, I'm looking at it from the firefighting point of view, where our firehouse is located and our egress going Highway 100 east. If we have calls that way, we have to go up and all the way around through the traffic, through the downtown district. It just takes a chance on more problems happening, trying to get through on a busy Saturday with people, traffic, and no place for people to go.
Okay.
Last time this was put out there, they were supposed to have it open. It was only going to be closed for a couple hours, and that was not the fact. At nighttime, they parked cars right in the center where no emergency equipment could get through. Then when they left the next day to do their rides, they left the horses up, because I personally took them down one day to get through because it was supposed to be open. So I mean, it's a great event. I'm all for the event.
Okay.
I am not happy with how we're doing that. you know.
How exactly did we do it last year, Chief?
They were supposed to have had things moved, so whatever they approved, then.
They were
Okay.
only gonna have the
What
street,
needs to be done.
This says no street closure in parentheses at the bottom, and then number 3 on the application, it has in parentheses.
I'm just saying, you know.
Bruce, I'll tell you that I've talked to them, and they're willing to do it however we want. And if we need to have that street open,
Well, I don't think
Center of it open.
I don't think it has to be open where you let all the traffic go through, but we have to be able to have egress to get a fire truck through there.
okay.
I would say put up barricades with no vehicles blocking the lane.
And
Barricade
that's
could
what
be
they
easily
did, they parked them in the center.
Yeah, they had two cars, they had cars right where a fire truck would go through.
And, you know,
That's not a
chances
good
are,
idea.
nothing will happen, you know.
I don't see a
odds are
street,
It's
slim.
your job to think about stuff that
But,
could happen.
I'm with Brian, I don't see a street closure. They're good.
yeah, well, last year wasn't supposed to be neither.
Yeah, I think they wanted the streets closed from
No,
4 p.m. to 10 the next day.
it doesn't say
It
that.
says Gutenberg Street closure 4 p.m. to 10 a.m.
On those dates.
And then on number 10, it says 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., so.
Yeah, and the person I talked to on the phone clarified in person that they wanted the street closed from 4 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Well, I would say, leave the middle of the street open for fire trucks.
Same, you know.
Is that good enough? Is that, because they'll be
I'm happy with that,
fine.
just make sure they understand they're not.
We have a fire meeting tomorrow night, and I will bring it up and present it, and let them chew on me.
I know last year, that's where they usually detail the cars at night, was right there in the middle of the street, as they lined them up, and the company came in and detailed all the cars at night, right there in the street. I guess they would move them and detail them there instead of lining them up, so I don't know if that's something.
Well, I mean,
you can look at
they
or-
probably need to not do that.
Couldn't they do them at the car wash or scoot
Yeah.
it down a little bit? I mean, you know, I'm just saying, I just want it to be a safe event,
It could be
and
on a side street, it could be on the second or
Yeah.
third.
And there's even a space there where Jim Hoffman has a little space where it's plenty big for two of those little cars to do two at once, as long as they're not in the center.
I don't want to take away from the event, because it's a good event,
What do you think would be better, being the expert? Where they should do it?
we just need egress to get through.
So, you know, they,
I mean, they park, and there's plenty of room to get through, except for, like I said, at nighttime, they were parking them in the center, so they're totally closed, you know.
I'll make the motion to approve the application as long as they have egress for the fire truck.
And I'll second that.
So approving the application's not very clear. Are we approving the street closure from 4 PM to 10 AM?
No, I'm just saying we're approving it as long as they have egress for the,
Emergency
trucks.
vehicles.
They
Emergency
cannot
vehicles.
park any cars in the middle of the
we
street.
can close the street
Yeah,
off
block the
with
park.
barricades, but as long as there's room for, move the barricade, get the fire truck through, right?
Marlon?
I know that I guess the director of it said that they're gonna have some type of blow up, something that they drive through when they leave on their route every morning. I guess right there at Gutenberg and First Street, is that, I don't know how big that's gonna be, or if that's gonna be too small for fire trucks to have to get, it's gonna be there all
Well,
day.
you'll have to move it,
So we need to.
because
figure
the
out how
fire
big
trucks
that
need
is,
to come
if
through
that-
there, right?
But some kind of inflatable they're gonna have when they drive through before
They just can't impede emergency vehicles there. It's
we
just
figure out
Can
how
we
big
write
it is
something
and
up?
where they're gonna put it at.
Trish, that says that they can,
I just need the motion.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down whatever I'm told.
You're gonna close, that we approve,
How wide an area you need, Bruce, 20 feet?
But, you know, the way they parked them last year was fine. There was plenty of room for traffic to get through. It's just that
At night.
Except where they park them side by
park them
side.
in the middle of the road, you can't get through. It all, you know, and if it has to be closed, it has to be closed. We can go around. I'm just looking on a Saturday, as busy as a Saturday is, trying to make egress down First Street with all the pedestrians, all the traffic. There's no place for a car to pull over if it's nothing but with traffic that, you know. it's
No,
just-
I agree with you 100%.
I think what they want to do is park the cars at night. They come back at 4, they leave at 10. It's easier to secure the cars and protect them.
In an area.
Right, but you're saying, and I agree, don't park in the middle of the street. Give a fire engine enough to
They have a barricade up, it's not, you know, it's a few seconds for the guy riding the seat to run out and move the barricade, you go through, you know. The police
Temporary
officers are gonna be there at
barricades.
nighttime to guard it anyway, they can set the barricade back up after we go through.
Okay.
So you don't want streets or anything permanent blocking the street closures, only
The egress.
permanent, only temporary things that can be
Right.
moved by emergency
Especially
services.
cars.
Yeah.
Did I understand, say that right? Okay.
Okay.
And if, you know, and when they're setting up, if you need me to come down, or I'll have the fire chief come down and talk to me, he won't be as
I
nice.
don't think there's a problem. They basically broke this up, and it came in a couple different ways. We had trouble. They told me, whatever you guys decide is fine.
Okay, and am I understanding this correctly, that when they leave for the day, the street is open?
It should be open.
Is that how you all are understanding that?
Yes.
Okay.
You can block off the
Yes.
parking spaces so nobody else parks.
Right.
Okay.
And I think they have all their stolen stuff. Okay, when you have it, Trish, we'll call for the...
I think I got something close.
Okay, I have a motion made and seconded. That's Brian and Dave. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, Bruce, I appreciate that. Special event application, well, we just did that. Okay, probably, there's no reports of any committees. We have one comment. Mr. Wilkins, you want to talk about proposed ordinance?
Correct.
Okay, well, you're not going to do it. Go ahead.
So first, maybe just a suggestion that if you really want to do what the will of the people is, that maybe you hold a public forum before you write up an ordinance. Then there's more transparency that you actually want to hear what the people do instead of what you want to do. But what I'm coming today for as a business owner is to get clarification. We just had the planning and zoning. I'm trying to see right now, in an R2 zone, are meals other than breakfast currently allowed by the city? What is the city's position on that?
Right now, the ordinance says morning meal.
Morning meal. But
No, it doesn't say morning.
Yes,
It says with or without a morning meal.
Okay.
So you can serve a
But it
morning
says-
meal or you can't.
Okay, so you can do no other food service.
That's the way it reads at the moment.
That's what it says, a
So
morning
the
meal.
city's position is that no other food service other than breakfast can currently occur.
No meals.
No other food. It doesn't say anything about meals. Are you
Yes, it
saying?
does. It says morning meal.
Okay, so
Read
you're
it
saying
as,
snacks are allowed?
We don't have
Currently,
anything that I would, a meal.
we have a law. I'm trying to get clarification.
Brad, you're asking us a question, which you're not really supposed to do. But you're asking us a question, you're not giving us a chance to answer. A snack is not a meal.
So it says snacks are allowed in the current
It
zoning?
doesn't say snacks are allowed or not allowed. It's just an incidental part of the.
So you've decided that they're allowed? Not the law. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Well, a snack is a snack and a meal is a meal. So how?
But that should be defined in the law, correct, Dave?
The city's position in your case, as you remember, was that you shouldn't provide meals in the afternoons and evenings. And we went back and forth, it was late September or October that one time, when we were in court, we went back and forth, what's a snack, what's a meal, what's this?
So I can do everything except meals?
And so we, then we went to mediation, and mediation.
Which he laughed at the mayor's position, if you remember.
Well,
I don't have a position, Brad.
What he did in the room with you and what he did in the room with us, neither one of us really know. But so anyway, what came out of all that was, and I think you might admit, and your lawyer would probably admit, that the ordinance as it's written is kind of gray and fuzzy, right? And so that was the purpose of the planning and zoning meeting last week, was to see if we could tighten it up one way or the other. And so that that draft ordinance that was considered by P&Z is, well, there is no new ordinance until we pass it.
No,
So
but they,
whatever's in the code now is what applies until we pass an ordinance to
And
replace it. The city's position in your case was that no afternoon or evening meals could be provided. And my advice to the city would be, if they ask me, that would be to take a consistent position with that until we pass. the
So
ordinance.
you were here at the planning and zoning meeting. There was a show of hands of people that are currently serving food, which is not allowed. And so you were aware of that, and we did notify you of that today, correct?
what?
They
We
were-
notified the city that our two properties are being allowed food service, which is not allowed in zoning, which number 12 on our agreement gives us the right to do if you don't immediately take steps to stop that.
Okay, first of all, Brad, I don't know if all those people were doing it or not until you say they raised their hands. Do we have a list of who they are? I mean, the whole meeting had nothing to do with taking a list of how many people are serving meals, or defining what a meal is, or listing what a snack is, or saying when it has to be. It was simply to get information, which addresses your very first question, which was we should do this differently, and we should have an open forum before we write an ordinance. That's not how we do this. We have a process, it goes to the planning and zoning. That was an open forum. We had all kinds of people here, they came, they talked, the planning and zoning commission listened to them. I was here, Brian was here, Susan was here, Bruce was here, we all heard what they had to say. And that is the open forum. Now, when we write this up for the next time, there'll be another forum. And then everybody can come and talk again. And then after that, yes. And then after that, when we have the reading, we have 2 readings of it, and there's still opportunity to talk. Until we pass the final version, at the second setting, there won't be an ordinance that's changed. So right now, we're doing the same one that we've had. And it is consistent with the state statute, which says morning meals only. I suppose you knew that, but that's what that says. And
That's for an approved kitchen, though. So if you have an approved kitchen that
Before we talk about this too much more, according to the last time I checked the court record, you didn't have an attorney representing you in our case. Is that the case now?
No, I do.
You do? Okay. I would advise the city not to talk any more about this. So we've got a pending case, there's a hearing on Friday. Except that the one thing I just wanted to get across, and I'd be happy to tell this to him tomorrow too, the judgment that we have in our case doesn't say that you can't serve meals. It says that you shall not advertise providing food or beverages to the public, and you can't provide food or beverages to anyone who's not a guest. It doesn't say that you can't provide afternoon or evening
Correct,
meals.
and we have.
So if we allow other people to do it,
Sure.
we're not allowing them to do something that you can't do.
So like the Blue Oval Club that had their reception this weekend right next door at the Vinchester, where you said I can't advertise to the public, but that clearly was advertised to the public, both on their Facebook and the city's website.
Brent, that wasn't to the public, that was for members that entered their competition, and the Winchester appears to have been grandfathered in.
So you understand I've been as long as the Vinchester, so I'm grandfathered
No,
on.
no,
The
You know.
Winchester,
No, you're not.
the Winchester is technically a hotel. It's got 11 rooms. It's got, and it's been there since before zoning started in the fall of '95.
So you,
So they've got a conference room in the bottom that can be used.
so you
As
at
a
least
conference.
understand that there are questions, and if should we win in court, the city pays my attorney's fees. I just want everybody to be aware of that.
You've talked and he's talked and he's talked, so yeah, he's probably about to his 3 minutes.
Okay, can we wrap it up?
Sure. One other question. You said I was sued for commercial activities. What were those commercial activities that were taking place?
Should we answer that? Nothing. It's all a matter of public record.
Certainly, so is my deposition where you asked me if I was serving people that
And-
didn't stay with me, and I said no.
And when you advertise to invite people that you don't know to come in and be fed and be entertained.
No, not fed. Read our deposition, not fed.
Okay.
Never. Read our deposition, please. Please know all the facts.
Right.
I have copies of the deposition. You can come over whenever you like.
We have copies too, right?
Okay.
And inviting people other than guests,
That's what the Vinchester did with the Blue Oval this weekend. That's what happens at the garden tour. That's what happens at the wedding trails as
think
well.
back, think back. It's a hotel. It's grandfathered in. You're not a hotel.
What about Herman Hill?
You're not
The
grandfathered.
wedding trail? That's open to the public, correct? Is it
You're not
not?
mentioning Winchester. I don't know what they do you?
Who?
I don't know, Brent. Do you
If,
have-
how are you suing me if you don't know what the zoning throughout town, you didn't know what the amphitheater was
This sounds
zoned?
like it should be in the hearing, not here.
Right,
I
I
agree.
think we're done.
Okay.
Thank you.
It would be nice though if you gave people a public forum before you sued them.
Well,
We talked to you for a long time.
No,
right?
sir, you didn't. You sued me.
I talked to you and you said to me on my front porch, I'm not gonna stop this. You're gonna
Because I'm not
you're
doing
gonna either have
anything
to arrest
illegal.
me or sue me. That's what you
Because I was
said.
not doing anything illegal. And you remember when you said it was not loud and you laughed at the mayor as well after hearing music?
This is over.
okay,
Hearing on Friday.
we now have a closed session. Can we adjourn to that?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn to closed session.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. We need a voice vote.
Yeah, all right.
Aye.
Aye.
We're now in closed session. Thank you.